everyone. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Stuttering in Silence. My name is Gavin Soden, and I'm joined by
Matthew Lepore.
Hey Matt, what are we going to be talking about today?
Sports, Gavin.
What kind of sports?
All the sports, my friend.
All sports? Perfect. Well, hey, it sounds fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we're going to enjoy it. And without further ado, let's jump on into it.
And Gavin, we are live.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Week of the 17th.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, guys, we are officially on everything.
Yeah. We're officially on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. So if you don't have any one of those, then you're not listening to us right now. So, joke's on you.
Yeah, so just make sure you guys are listening. Everything's going to be posted. We're going to post them the same time as we do the podcast. And then, we're going to be having some good shows kind of coming up.
Yeah.
That'll be posted the same day as this one.
Yeah.
But we're going to dive into some crazy kind of sports that happened this weekend, because I think everything went as planned except for, you were saying, the Giants.
No, the Titans.
The Titans.
Bills
No,
game.
I'm talking about like MLB.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, MLB was MLB kind of got a little crazy this week.
Yeah. So you were talking about we had the Astros you're talking about, right? And then the Giants got knocked out.
Yeah, so the Giants played the Dodgers in the wild card game. No. Yes. No.
Well, the Dodgers just played the Braves.
The Dodgers are playing the Braves currently. But anyway, yeah. So at any rate, the Giants got knocked out of the playoffs. The Dodgers are playing the Braves now, but the Dodgers are down 2-1, and they barely won last night.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I see here that it was 6-5. So they're down a series.
So they're down.
They're down a game.
They're technically down a game. So if they win tomorrow, then they'll play game 5, because it's only the championship series. So it's whoever wins out of that game goes to the World Series. So, which is kind of crazy, because if you think about it, the Braves didn't look that good coming out of the end, like going into the end of the regular season. They looked okay, but they didn't look like a top. They definitely didn't look like a top 4 team. Put it that way. So it's one of those things where the Braves and the Phillies kind of were neck and neck for a little bit going to the end of the season, and
okay.
I feel like the Braves are kind of like a dark horse, because like you have like the Red Sox were a top team in the MLB, definitely a top 5 team, or I'd say a top 10 team.
Just in case you didn't know, they don't end with an S.
That is true.
With an X.
Yes. You go to college, right?
I do go to college.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, not to kind of like off the thing, but apparently there's how many total sports teams without an S at the end? I would say it was 9 or 12.
Well, there's only 2 in the MLB.
2 in the MLB. But yeah, I think our buddy Ben was like having this whole thing. He goes, Matt, can you name like all the sports teams without the S? And I went over the White Sox and the Red Sox. I'm like, no, it can't be them. And my idiot self was like, can't be them. And he goes, Matt, it is them. I was like, ah. So anyways, as you were saying.
Yeah. In fairness, if you don't know how they're spelled, like you would assume it's spelled S-O-C-K-S.
Oh, my God.
But, S-O-C-K-S.
It is what it is.
Anyway, all right, before we get on a tangent.
Sorry.
So the Red Sox were I would say a top 6 team. And then the Astros were decent throughout the regular season. The Astros are always good. The only time they weren't really good was, I think, 2020, where they kind of struggled a little bit.
What do you mean?
Just like they're always a top team. Like the past 5 years, they've been a good team to where like they're gonna win. Probably they're gonna have a win differential of like 30 to 40 games. So they've always been a good team for the past 5 years. But a fun fact for you, if you didn't know, the Astros they actually switched divisions a couple of years ago. I think it was like 10 years ago or 8 years ago, because they used
pretty recent.
Yeah, they used to be in the National League.
Okay.
In the same division as the Cubs, the NL Central.
Really?
Yeah. It was the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Brewers and the Astros.
Why did they switch?
Because they had 5 teams, and the AL Central had 3 teams or 4 teams. But anyway, they switched up to even things out, I think. Like I could be wrong, but that's what it seemed like. But yeah. So anyway, yeah. So the Red Sox are playing the Astros. We're right now, and the Astros are looking good. I think the Red Sox are flat out a better team.
Yeah, 12-3.
Yeah. Well, I mean each game has been a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Like,
On Monday, yeah, or no, not 18-3, 12-3.
12-3, yeah.
Yeah.
It's every game has been pretty good. So, it's been a fun series to watch.
Jeez.
You know, well, not too like it's weird because like the Astros only put up like 3 runs in the first 6 innings, and then from the 7th inning on, all of a sudden, boom, they just start smacking the ball. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy. They're definitely like a late in the ball game kind of team.
Yeah, look, the Astros, yeah, in the in
Yeah,
the fourth with only 3, yeah,
yeah.
6 unanswered runs.
Well, last night they put up. Last night the Astros put up I think 6th spot in the 9th inning because I think it was tied going into the 9th. Yeah. Yeah, so there was a 6th spot going into the 9th, and the Astros ended up winning the game. Or a 7th spot, yeah. So 7 unanswered runs in the 9th inning. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. They kind of got shut down. Nathan Eovaldi kind of got slapped around a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so this series is really good. I personally think it's gonna be the Red Sox going to the World Series against the Braves. I just don't see, as the Braves have been able to shut down the Dodgers twice, like 2 straight times, and almost beat them last night. I just feel like I just feel like it's a better. You know, a better series.
I mean, and it was a close game too, 6-5.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, a lot of late scores, especially from the Dodgers in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, the Dodgers were actually, so they were a really good team, and the only reason they won last night was because of Cody Bellinger, who actually did something for once. He actually hit a late game home run. And kind of put them. You think he either put them up or he tied the game, but
Jeez.
Yeah. He actually he did something for once.
Now is he not usually like a?
Well, it's kind of like this year. No, this year he sucked bad, big time.
Really?
But only 2 years ago he was an MVP. So
okay, not to like stop you, but how does that? So does that translate different? So like I know like in the NFL you have a lot of that aspect of like, oh, they were great in like 2018, 2021, they're just dog shit. So in translating it to baseball, is that just not as much practice? Is it not as much like playtime? Is it not enough, or whatever it is?
I would say it's probably people like his hitting coaches messing with his fundamentals, because like if you think about it, when you're a little kid, you learn how to hit a baseball.
Sure.
And like as you go through high school and college. You know, you get taught how to actually play baseball, like how to hit, how to stand, how to swing, how to use your body to your advantage.
That makes sense. I mean, I used to play Little League.
Yeah. So, but then when you get to like the MLB and you go into like the minor leagues or you go into the major leagues, you have these hitting coaches that'll be like, hey, we're noticing that you didn't hit well the past like 12 games. We're noticing you're dropping your elbow too soon, or you're swinging too hard, or whatever. So we'll tweak some stuff here and there. And even last year he was pretty good. And a couple years, like 2019, he was outstanding. He was on fire. He was insane in 2019. All of a sudden, 2021 comes around, and he threw. I remember the last game when we played when the Phillies played the Dodgers. His batting average was 168.
Oh, that's great, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it was bad. It was really bad, and yeah. So he's just been really tough he's having a tough year, struggling really hard. So I think that's a big contribution to why the Dodgers are kind of not performing the way that everyone expected them to.
So that's crazy because I can't imagine playing at that kind of level and like a batting coach really kind of critiquing you to a point where it actually hinders you.
Well, because
I feel like if you like because you played at a high level, I know in high school and things like that. So like I would imagine even kind of coming into college, they wouldn't be changing you as much. They'd be like critiquing you a little bit, but I can't imagine in the majors they're really like.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, if you think about it, so you have all these different coaches that'll come to you and they'll say like, "Hey, you're swinging too early on a lot of your pitches. Like you have a lot of pop ups or a lot of ground balls. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get your timing down a little bit better. We're going to go through some just some simple like hitting drills just to kind of get your timing down on different kinds of pitches, and they'll break it down to the most in depth. Like they'll say to you, okay, you're struggling this year against right-handed pitchers on fastballs up and inside in the zone.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is practice only that pitch, and
And
they
just
do that.
repetition.
Yeah, and then so on and so forth. And like Cody Bellinger, obviously, is somebody that can play really freaking well in the MLB.
Okay.
But what you have a lot of the times is you have guys that come out of the minor leagues and they'll say like they'll get called up and. So they'll get called up to the MLB and they'll say, okay, we'll give you a shot. Like we'll put you in. Let's say somebody got injured, right? Okay, well you're a left fielder. We'll put you in left field and we'll see how you perform, right?
Sure.
If they don't hit well, let's say they're only hitting like 205 through 20 games, and they're not, you know what I mean, whatever. They'll say, okay, we see potential in you. You're just not ready yet. They'll drop them back down to the minors and say, go get more reps in AAA. Because it's the closest to the MLB.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, 100%.
That's actually what happened with Alec Boehm with the Phillies. He he got called up this year, played pretty well, and then all of a sudden, the dude could not stop making errors.
So how often does that happen? Now, obviously, people can kind of figure out. I'm kind of ignorant on a lot of topics when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
So Gavin is like our resident everywhere. He knows legitimately everything. He could probably sit here and do a 3-hour straight Joe Rogan type style podcast. So does that happen a lot? Because I know like you don't really see that a lot with football. They'll get traded or they'll get put out and they'll put somebody in. And like the Eagles had a lot of issues with that. Or we were even pulling people from the practice squad.
Right.
So I know that happens, but they're not going to drop them down because there really is no, I guess, minor.
Well, so the way it works is like this. When you're in high school, you go to college and you play for a college team.
Yes.
Like you get a scholarship, right?
Yep.
Play through college, and then what happens is you have scouts that come to the games and they'll say,
Sure. I had
you're
that
really
with
good.
wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
From college, you'll get signed. You'll go into the MLB draft.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll get signed to whatever team, whatever. And then most of the time you'll start off in single A or double A. Now, the way that it works is you have 3 tiers to the minor leagues. You have single A, double A, and triple A. Now, single A is about the closest you're going to get to playing college ball.
Okay.
Double A is a mixture of triple A and single A, obviously.
Yeah.
That's where like the Reading Phillies.
Yeah, yeah. I love going to this game.
Yeah. And then in AAA is basically it's like an MLB game. So like you'll have some of the top prospects for each organization playing in AAA. The pitcher, like everybody, right? So then there will be times where like and then if you go through AAA, you'll go into the MLB. You get called up.
Okay.
So the way it works is, let's say like you're on a baseball team, you're on the Phillies, and you get hurt.
All right.
You get hurt real bad. And then you're coming back, and like your rehab is like, okay, you're able to play by mid-June. Okay.
So then you would go back down to the minor leagues.
Yeah, to save space, to make room on the team, they would option you to AAA, and then you would go and do your rehab starts there.
Oh, those are pretty smart.
Yeah, so you would get back.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
So you would play a couple games, however many games, get yourself acclimated to playing actual baseball again.
Sure.
And then if you're doing well, you're feeling good, ready to come back, then they'll take whoever they pushed up to bring you down, and they'll switch you again.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. Oh,
it just saves space for the team. So
no, that makes a lot of sense.
That's why it's why like the farm leagues have like when you're as an MLB organization, you have to really focus on not just your current like your MLB team, but also your farm league system, because if you don't have any draft picks, any good scouting, like good scouted kids coming up, you're kind of screwed because
you have nobody coming through the program.
Right. So let's say you're the Phillies, right? And your number one player on the team is Bryce Harper.
He's not that good.
Well, this is actually
Never heard of him.
Yeah. Well, this is actually what the Phillies are in now. We don't have a lot of good talent coming in through the farm league. So if we got guys that are hurt,
I didn't even know they were called the farm league.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's just kind of like how you reference.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because you're farming talent.
Yes. Yeah.
But like if Bryce Harper isn't playing well or if nobody's playing well and getting hurt, you don't have another option. You don't have like a guy to call up and play for him. to switch out some stuff and switch some stuff up. But yeah, like that's what happened with Alec Boehm. He was playing pretty well throughout the season. All of a sudden, he couldn't hit and he couldn't stop making errors. So the Phillies were like, "All right, you're gonna get you sent down to AAA." Sent him down to AAA. He was outstanding. He was an all-star. Comes back up to the MLB. Same thing. Just striking out errors.
Now, is that just the difference between like the AAA and then you have like your?
Yes.
Now, what's the difference between like pitching? So I know like the average like speed of pitching is like 95 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Now, when you're jumping down to like the AAA, are you in like the 80s?
No, it's 95.
So it's 95.
It's like
still
93 to 95. Because if you think about it, you're in like AAA is like I said, you got guys that even maybe have started in the MLB. Like let's say like you got like a guy like okay, for example, Brusdar Graterol for the Dodgers.
Okay.
He's a pretty good pitcher. He throws 102 mile per hour sinker, which is ridiculous. But the point is, in 2019, he got called up to the MLB for a couple games, got sent back down. So and now he's pitching in the MLB. So this is a guy that, or 2020, I'm sorry. So this is a guy that he's striking out the best in the world. You know what I mean? He's like pitching really freaking well in the MLB.
Sure.
Whatever happens, some cap space issues, maybe gets hurt, whatever. He goes back down to AAA. Now you're in AAA and you're facing him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of what you have to think about in terms of that. And also too, you'll also have guys go down to AA sometimes if like they're making their first few rehab starts, like they'll come in AAA or AA. And
now, how much of a difference between AA and AAA?
A lot.
So would that be the same thing as like a D1 kind of like let's say like a Penn State kind of coming down to like
it would be like it would be like if the MLB was like Division 1, AAA would be like
D2.
A very, very good team on D2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that does happen a lot in like football, especially like in college ball. I know, like the big joke is like people like a lot of the kids who play in like these high D2 schools just weren't smart enough to play in D1. But like, okay, so I didn't know if there was that much of a difference because I know like if you have like a school like Penn State come down to play Kutztown, which is D2, it's not gonna be
so
or even like Westchester in that regard.
If you think about it, because like the minor leagues are full of different kinds of people because like they don't get paid that much money to be in the minors, so you might get signed to an MLB contract, right? For let's say for single A.
All right.
Okay. But if you don't really play that well, you're kind of playing okay. You never get bumped up. You might be a lifer. Like you might be there for 15 years playing single A baseball. You know what I mean? And we're going to be.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah.
Really?
Going and being a bartender down the street from the stadium.
And then like Friday night, you just hop in and.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of sounds kind of fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because it's kind of your job, but also at the same time, it's like you don't make that much money, so it's like.
Well, I mean, that kind of happened. Like, kind of going back to the Eagles, that kind of happened. I can't think of his name, but he was on the practice squad. He was like, what was he? He had to fly out. Was he serving tables? Who is it that had to jump into? Was it the Eagles or was somebody else? It was last year. I know it happened because we needed him. Someone needed him for a game. I think it was the Eagles.
Oh, are you talking about
I can't think of the names.
Talking about Travis Fulgham?
Might have been.
Was it him? I feel like I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I know he got called up from the practice squad or whatever it was. Yeah, no, it was the Eagles. It might have been Travis because it might have been for a playoff game or whatever it was. And they're like, hey, we need you in, and he just
well, definitely could have been
up.
a playoff game if it was us.
Yeah. But yeah, I know things like that happen. So does that kind of correlate to like someone from like AA or AAA? They might need them on like a random Tuesday.
Yeah,
just grab them.
Yeah, so they'll have like or they'll have one of the coaches go down and they'll say, hey, or they'll call them. You know, they'll say, hey, listen, you've been excelling really well. Or they'll even call their like the Dodgers coach will call like the minor league coach.
Scenario, yeah.
And they'll say, hey, we need John James to come up and play for this guy, like Trey Turner. So get him ready, get him on the plane, and send him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then the coach will go to his player and go, yo, great news. You got called up. You're going in. So get your stuff. You're heading up.
So big break scenario. Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's not like it's kind of hard because if you're a AAA player and you're young, you're like 22, and you're freaking amazing at the game, you'll get called up fast. But if, like, for example, Wander Franco, that dude is only 21 years old, and he's already one of the best hitters in baseball.
And look at us, 22, 23 years old.
The dude is ridiculous, bro. His defense is crazy. His hitting performance, his hitting stats are insane.
What's his batting average right now?
Oh well, his season's over. He plays for the Rays, but he finished, I think, in the low threes.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, so he or high twos.
What was his on base? Do you know? Or?
It was high. I know it was high. He got on base like 40 straight games.
I'll have to look. Oh.
Yeah, he was kind of crazy. So the dude is freaking amazing. And so he's going to be an all-star, right? But then you got guys like,
who in like the MLB would be like comparative to him?
Well, that he is in the MLB.
I mean,
like
kind of. So he's 21, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be an all-star.
Yeah.
But who is he? Kind of like gonna be like okay. So if you'd be like looking at like, all right, this kid could be like the next LeBron.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Who was he going to be?
He would be. He would probably be, because he plays shortstop, so he's got the defense of like a very young Cal Ripken Jr. and I would say he's like a 2007 Jimmy Rollins with more power.
All right, well, you guys heard it here, October 20th at 2:18 p.m.
It's October 20th.
What? October? I said October 20th.
You said 20th.
20th, not 28th.
Oh,
20th.
I don't care.
Yo, Tom, do you want to do this podcast?
Yeah, so I would say he's like a mid-tier Jimmy Rollins, like an all-star version of Jimmy Rollins.
Okay, yeah.
Just with more pop.
Okay.
So he's, but you never know with MLB because you play so many games and you have such a long season to where like you got guys like that'll go legitimately 2 months without doing anything. And then they'll turn it back up. Like, you don't understand like how hard it is to go from April through September.
Well, as you said, it's just like 162 games just straight through.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when you and I had that conversation because I guess I knew they played like around 100 plus games. I didn't know it was 162 to be exact, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. But when you're like, yeah, they don't play, because like I guess my question to you, because obviously we're doing this podcast and you've been trying to get me into like MLB a lot more other than just like NFL,
yeah,
or like in my world of like powerlifting or like watching like wrestling and stuff like that, like Olympic wrestling.
Yeah,
like we were talking and you're like they play from April to September. And you're like, yeah, like every day. Because I remember, like, I think it was the Braves or was the Red Sox. Like, they had their series and like they played every day. And I was like,
yeah,
wait, they just played them. And then it was a Friday night and they're playing like the Braves or whoever. And I'm like, what? And
yeah.
it didn't make sense to me because I was sitting there and I was like, huh? Because you have like NFL, right?
Yeah.
They'll play like once a week.
Yeah.
Right, and then you have people in like strongman. They're competing, especially like for me, once every couple months.
Yeah.
Then you have like wrestlers. They're competing once maybe a year
right.
in a tournament. And I guess for me, it was one of those things where I always kind of watched MLB go to the Reading Phillies all the time, but I didn't understand that they were playing like every day. Because I guess
like you'll have breaks in between your series. Like you'll have like, so for example, right? Let's say the Phillies play 2 series back to back, and they're both 4 games. So they'll play 8 days straight. And they'll say they'll like if they're at home, right? So on the end of that 8th game, they'll get on a bus or a plane and they'll go to wherever the other stadium is. So let's say, for example, we're playing at home and we then have to go to Colorado. As soon as that game ends, we'll go get the players will go and get changed, do their post game conference things, whatever. You can get on a plane and go fly to Colorado, check into their hotel room, whatever. And then the very next day is either going to be a kind of like a quote unquote rest day. If let's say they end the series at home on a Thursday, or let's say they end the last game at home is on a Wednesday.
All right.
And then the next game they play is on Friday. That Thursday will be like their travel day. So they'll get into Colorado by Thursday, and then they'll get into their hotel,
recover,
go into the stadium, do their their stretches, maybe some hitting drills, maybe do some light practicing,
active rest,
just some stuff like to get their bodies like okay. And then they'll play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then let's say they have another game in St. Louis, but it's on a Monday. So they'll Sunday night on a plane, go to St. Louis, get into their hotel room, boom, Monday night.
Dude, I
play
couldn't
again.
do that. I couldn't do that.
Well,
I mean,
it's hard, because it takes a lot out of your body, and then you got guys like all-star guys,
yeah.
who are expected to play, and if out of 162 games, minimum 150. You know what I mean? So you have those, and then you got guys like Yadier Molina on the Cardinals, has played forever. He's like 100 years old, and he's a catcher.
He's like 100 years. Oh, he's just in that position.
So
yeah,
takes a lot out of your body, but that's why the MLB, they're doing something right with their training staffs, because
well, they have to,
I mean,
especially if you're playing 150 games a year.
I know it's kind of the same way as like the NBA has a lot of games. Like they'll play like maybe 2 games back to back, and then they'll have like a couple days break, and then another like game, and then a day break, and then another 2 games, and then
Yeah.
But they're only playing, what, 70 games or 60 games? Or 50, is it 52 games? But they're only playing a quarter or like a half of what the MLB does, or a quarter of what the MLB does. Not throwing shots, not saying anything, but it just takes a lot out of your body.
Yeah.
I know you can say like, oh, like the NBA and like NFL, obviously they're more physical, because I don't think realistically you can expect to have you couldn't expect to have your team play 5 days out of the week playing football.
It's 82.
82 games.
82. Yeah.
Yeah, so you really couldn't expect that out of your teammate. Like, imagine if the NFL season was like 30 games long, and you played like 3 times a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would have guys that would be like playing 4 years, and then they're like, all right, cool.
Time to sit on the couch and
Yeah.
smoke a cigar. Yeah.
But no, so that's kind of how that works with the MLB. But getting back to the postseason, it's kind of ramping up here. We're kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty. At this point, I feel like personally the American League teams are way better than the National League teams. I think if you're a National League fan, which it's a whole nother tangent, but they took away the whole American League fans versus National League fans, because it used to be you were a fan of one specific team.
That makes sense.
But you wanted your division to win. So you would have like the All-Star game, American League versus National League. And the whole point of that game was to find out who gets home field advantage in the World Series. Well, guess what? They took that away.
When did they take that out?
2018 or 19.
Oh, that short ago.
Yeah, it was like, they were like, oh, you guys really like this? No.
No. I feel like that's happening a lot with like everything right now.
Yeah, dude, it's so annoying. Because then it's like you think, then it's like there's no point to watching the All-Star game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That rivalry would have been nice too, because you would have a lot more subscribers too.
Yeah. Dude, the MLB was going a couple of years ago. The MLB still has a problem with their coverage for games, because like how you buy like you buy the MLB Sports package.
Yeah.
$180 a year, and you get all the channels.
Yeah.
You go to turn on your channels, they don't work. They're
really
the blackout. Oh, can't watch it in your area.
I feel like that's been all over Twitter for years. They haven't fixed that at all. I remember in 2017 that was really bad.
Yeah,
because people were getting pissed. I remember my grandfather. He lives in New Jersey, so he'd be like, you know what, Lisa, they don't fix anything. I can't watch the Yankees.
Yeah.
And he would just get all up in arms, and I'm like, you think by then, for $180 some, because with football, with fights, with anything, things go down to you're seeing it up in like less.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the MLB just didn't care for the longest time. They were like, oh, like the MLB is the oldest like by the book sports organization, like that you can watch. Like for example, the Yankees don't allow their players to have long hair or beards.
I did know that.
So it's one of those things where it's like they're slowly trying to get with the times more. Like they're slow. You can see them like the MLB trying to work with what they have and trying to make it like, for example, games like MLB games used to be 2.5 hours to 3 hours long.
Sure.
So you would get to the Phillies game at 7:05. You wouldn't leave until 10:15. games still do go that long, but they're slightly faster because they now have a timer for how long the pitcher has between pitches.
Oh,
So they never used to have that. It used to be however long you wanted to take on the mound.
Now how recent is that?
Oh, only like a year or two.
Really?
Or 2 years.
So why? So okay. So then why was the big switch then?
Because you would have guys like on the mound that would get onto the mound and they would dig in their cleats and they would wipe their head and they would rub the ball and they would stretch their neck and they would twist their back and they would scratch their ear and they would touch their eye, then they would lick their fingers. Then they would look at the sign, they'd shake off a bunch of pitches, they'd say they want to pitch, they'd come together with their hands, they'd look to second base, they'd look up in the air, they'd do a little shimmy, and then they would throw the ball.
Everything you just said took up 5 minutes.
Exactly. That would be in between every pitch.
Yeah.
So it would just be insanely long.
Yeah.
And so then they were like, okay, well now you only have 30 seconds in between each pitch. So a lot of guys were like, okay, well, but I have a routine. And it's like the MLB is like, yeah, your routine should not be a minute long.
Well, that's better for viewers, less so for players. Because like I know like a lot of people, especially like if it's competition day, you're eating the same thing, you're doing whatever or whatever it is. But I mean, like
when I was a pitcher, I had a routine. You get onto the mound, I would click my heel or my right heel against the rubber. I'd put the outside of my heel on the inside of the rubber. I'd dig in my cleat. I'd get set. I'd lean in. I'd look at the pitch. I'd see the pitch. I'd come together with my hands, which is my hand in the glove on the ball. I'd get the pitch set up. I'd take a breath, and then I'd pitch.
Yeah.
It all maybe took 20 seconds. But you have guys that are doing a lot longer routines that are just, just they were pissed about it because they're like, well, what am I supposed to do? And they're like, well, you have to.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like a minute for each pitch, and you're having so many pitches per game.
Yeah. If you have a guy throwing 100 pitches a game, Yeah.
Well, they're right there. 100 pitches a game, even at a minute, right?
Well, think about this. If you throw, that would be, an hour and a half?
Give or take.
Or almost 2 hours long. That's only for one pitcher, for one team.
Yeah.
So imagine if the other pitcher on their team has a longer routine.
I never would have thought of that. Wow, that really does eat into a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Well, even at 30 seconds, say 30 seconds per pitch, only cuts it in half. Now you're at 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It is a pretty big blow. Like it does cut the time down to watch. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't stand baseball. It's so boring." And yes, I understand. Nobody wants to sit down and watch unless you're a super avid fan. Nobody wants to sit down and watch the Blue Jays play the Rangers on a Wednesday at 1:00 in the middle of July. It's not going to be because the whole thing is this. Ready? From April through June. The games they matter because it's the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like, okay, cool. Everyone's hyped for the first 2 weeks of the season. And then it's like, okay.
And you have so much more baseball left to play.
Yeah. And then everyone kind of stops watching until mid-July when the All-Star break happens. Everyone's like, yeah, who's going to be an All-Star? Woo. Is my team going to win? And then, you have the home run derby and the celebrity thing and all that stuff. And then, nobody cares until end of August through
nobody
September.
Cares until end of August.
I mean, that's really what it is.
Well, no, I mean that's kind of how it is. Like especially for me, is like I'll follow it on the CBS Sports. Oh, okay, the Phillies are playing tonight. Or the Dodgers are playing tonight. Oh, okay, they won by a run. Or I'll see whoever just scored. Or
and it's honestly weird because if you in the NFL, if your team goes 16-0, you're watching every one of those games, and 100%. You're like, my team is going to whip ass, right?
Yeah.
In the MLB. If your team in beginning of August is 35 games above 500 or 8 games and let's say they're 18 games in first place, you're not watching those games anymore because you're just like, oh well, my team's going to win.
Yeah,
my team's not going to lose 18 straight games. It's what it is. But that's why I was excited the last time that we talked about it because the end of this season. You had 3 teams in the AL East: the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays, all fighting for that wild card spot.
Yes.
So it gets interesting. But if on the onverse, if you're a Rays fan, you probably weren't watching most of the games because they were 12 games in first place at the end of the season.
And they kind of figured they were going to get that. Well, yeah, no, that makes sense, and that happens a lot. I feel like when it comes to even football or wrestling or. Different powerlifting competitions. You're like, oh, okay, this person's gonna win. I'm not gonna check in. I'll just see the stats afterwards because you're like, Okay, that's the name I was looking for. That's the name I
Yeah.
expected, which I can see, and I think that that's happened in like a lot of regards, especially with like you have like a Thor and Eddie Hall. That could be a different situation, kind of going,
Yeah.
and you might watch that. But then if you have like a Brian Shaw back in 2017, you're like, am I really gonna watch him lift the car again? And
It
then
just gets old.
no, I
It's,
understand that makes a lot of sense.
and even for someone like me who I love baseball. I love watching
Couldn't
the
tell.
sport.
Couldn't tell.
I love following the sport. You're just going to sit there and be like, all right, well, if I'm going to sit there and watch a couple, like the first month of the season, I'm going to follow all the games. I'm going to make sure I know who wins every day, but I'm not going to watch them all. It just takes up too much time. It is a little bit boring. Like, because then you have, especially when you're a Phillies fan, when you're losing a lot of the games, do I want to see us lose to the Pirates 8-0 nothing on a Thursday night in the middle of June? Like, no, I don't.
And then it ruins your evening.
Yeah, and you're like, all right. But yeah, so that's just kind of what it is for baseball right now. I think if I have a prediction for what's going to happen, I think it's going to be the Red Sox and the Braves going to the World Series, and I think the Red Sox are going to win. That's my prediction. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen.
I don't. FanDuel.
I have a FanDuel account, so
It'd be nutty if like you were like legitimately right about that, which you mean you usually typically are.
It's just tough with baseball because, like, for example, you have a game like last night. The Red Sox were winning through 8 innings. All of a sudden, boom, the Astros just put up a 7 spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to always have that in the back of your head, like, oh, like the other team could win, especially in postseason because you're not dealing. It's not like the Red Sox, who are a top 5 team in the MLB, playing the Rangers, who are the worst 5 in the MLB, and it's like they're winning 5-0 in the 8th. You're not expecting the Rangers to come back and win the game.
No, you're gonna look at it and be like, oh, it's 5-0. Cool.
It's game
Anyways,
over,
yeah.
But so that's pretty much what I'm expecting to happen. Now, the Dodgers do have a chance to come back and beat the Braves, obviously, and the Astros, obviously. They might be favorites against the Red Sox. I haven't checked the odds or the spread, but the Astros are a good team.
Play again on Friday?
Yeah,
22nd.
So they play on Friday. They'll be in Houston, so that's where their magic always happens, like the Altuve home run against Aroldis Chapman, that whole thing. Stuff happens, in Houston. So it is what it is. I really don't want to see the Astros go to the World Series again. I don't, not even just for the fact that they cheated a couple years ago, but just for the fact of like
that whole trash can incident, right?
Oh yeah, I just can't stand the Astros organization. I hate the team. I don't like Altuve. I don't like, and it's not even like I don't like them because that they cheated. It's just like
is it the same kind of thing of like a Patriots kind of hate, or is it like you just truly just can't?
I just don't like them because they're good. They're a good team, but there's always like some kind of controversy around them. You know what I mean? Like there's always something going wrong. There's always something where you can say like, oh, yeah, they won the game, but Carlos Correa was taunting the other team or something. You know what I mean? It's always something. Like you can't just win the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not a Red Sox fan. I don't really like the Red Sox. I think
you just want them to beat the Astros.
I just want them to beat the Astros. And looking at it from a completely realistic standpoint, I think they're going to win the World Series as long as they beat the Astros. If they can beat the Astros, I think they're going to win the World Series.
So what you're saying is watch out for trash cans.
Watch out for trash cans. If somebody's banging on a trash can, somebody's got to be like, yo, stop it.
Stop.
You know what I mean? Like imagine you just get like somebody's at the plate and he's gonna hit you. Doom doom doom. You hear somebody just gets tased. Security just like no. Throw. That was a home run. No, doesn't count. Throw.
Run it back.
Yeah. Let's
run back around.
Run back around the other way. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on in the MLB world. Nothing real other than that. There's nothing really to talk about. There's no big trades or nothing happening yet. Obviously, that'll all happen throughout the winter. But
speaking of big trades, how sad was
don't even
Mr. Ertz there?
Don't even bring it up, dude.
Dude,
that was the dumbest thing.
When he cried, like it was one of those things where like I saw it. I forget where. I think I was driving. I was like door dashing, and I was driving, and I'm looking, and I'm like, they what? And then I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for like an order, and I'm watching this.
Yeah.
And all I'm seeing over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is like, "We love you, we miss you," and I'm like getting kind of emotional. And then you watch the press conference.
Oh, dude.
And listen, I know he cried when he was almost traded like the one time, but like this one kind of hurt because it wasn't like he was a bad player.
He wasn't a bad player at
He
all.
had good stats for Philly, and I'm not going to say he's the greatest of all time. No. Obviously not. But it's one of those things where I think this also kind of comes back to the fans for us being so prolific, where it's like, when you love somebody in Philly, you love somebody in Philly. And when you hate somebody in Philly, you shit on them, and they're going to throw.
Well, that dude, it's so dumb. It pisses me off. It really does, because Zach Ertz was drafted by the Eagles in 2013, and guess what? He was a part of the Nick Foles 7-game touchdown tying an NFL record game. He was a part of that game. He caught a touchdown pass in that game.
Yeah,
he was a part. He was the reason basically we won the Super Bowl.
Well, he caught the touchdown pass.
Yeah. He to go ahead with like 2:10 left on the clock in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the Patriots dynasty. You know what I mean? He makes plays. He has he only needed a couple more receptions to have the most receptions I don't think any player in the Philadelphia Eagles history. He has the most yards,
and it wasn't by that much. It was like what 100 and I forget what it is.
No,
I think I'm gonna be wrong.
It was like 12 more catches.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was
something like that.
I was thinking yards. I was thinking 12 catch.
Dude, he has dude, it's ridiculous. He was so good. And yes, okay. After 2017, he definitely went down the hill a little bit. He definitely was at like a super high level, definitely top 5 in the NFL. Definitely dropped down to top 10, maybe even top 15.
I would agree.
And this season, he struggled a little bit, but he's such a like, if it was me, for what we got, so I think the reason that we traded him was because we wanted another cornerback to kind of help out,
and then that 5th round pick,
and then a draft pick. So I think the Eagles are trying to set themselves up nicely to have like a good amount of early picks in the next season's draft. So that
makes sense.
But I really, if we don't draft defense heavy next season, I promise you, I might not watch a game.
Our secondary, because it's so funny, because like our front line, like our front 4, front 3.
Yeah,
too good. Even on passes.
Yeah,
you can hear them calling the passes. You can hear them calling the shovels. Whatever it is.
Yeah,
and they're even catching reverses coming into the backfield.
Yeah,
but then if we're running a 3 front, we're running a 4 front.
Yeah,
and they're coming through. We can't open field tackle. Now in the first game we played against the Falcons, we're sitting here.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what's happening? We can't tackle. We're arm tackling, whatever it is. And I know this is me saying this to an NFL player.
Well, the thing is, the Eagles haven't had a good secondary in a very long time.
No, and it's like, if you're going to get a 5th round pick from trading him, you better do something good with it.
That's what I mean. Look what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys last season were a mediocre team. They spent the first 6 draft picks on straight defense, and now look at them.
And their defense is arguably, they're arguably one of the best defenses.
Trayvon Diggs has 7 straight or what is it? 5 straight games with an interception.
5 straight games.
Like, dude, huh? Like, the dude is ridiculous. And the Cowboys, of course, you have Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, Pollard. You have these good players, and it's like, oh, what's going to happen? Well, you drafted CeeDee Lamb one year, you draft Trayvon Diggs, and you have a top wide receiver and a top cornerback. It's like, dude, what? Like, what do you expect? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
CeeDee Lamb with two TDs against the Patriots.
Yeah, dude, CeeDee Lamb's that dude. I think I kind of am a little bit sad that we drafted Jalen Reagor over CeeDee Lamb, but.
Well, hopefully we make some good, choices with that 5th round pick. But I
think the Eagles right now we have to figure it out. Nick Sirianni has to stop calling bubble screens.
Oh my!
And RPOs.
Oh my!
And RPO plays, and then we got to, and then
we ran the ball. Was it twice?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got to run the ball,
bro. Listen, if we're not passing well, even at all,
we haven't passed,
and we're getting closed in the pocket, why aren't we running at least a little bit, or go on the outside? If we're gonna beat someone on the outside on like a shovel, or even do like a little shovel pass, or
I'm just
have
tired of it. I'm just tired of watching Jalen Reagor snap the ball and throw the ball to no one, and I'm like, and then like you can obviously some guys may make some big drops, like Quez Watkins dropped a 3rd and 4, which was a pretty big down. It was for the first down. He dropped the 3rd and 4 pass when we were tied game.
Yeah.
And they went down the field and scored a touchdown on Thursday. And it's like, all right. Back to a couple of weeks ago, Jalen Reagor stepped out of bounds, caught a touchdown that would have put us up by 14. Then the very next week, once again caught a touchdown. Devontae Smith caught a touchdown, but it was out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds, and then once again, Devontae Smith caught another touchdown. But it was a pick play.
Yep.
And it's just like, dude, you can't get out of our own way.
Nope.
So it's just tough because I do think we have a good enough team to be at least decent. You know what I mean? I think we're better than a lot of. I think with our roster has the potential to be a lot better than than 2-4.
Yeah, and I still like what you said too. As we play to the what's what I'm looking
the competition.
For? The competition,
Yeah.
and which is frustrating because in the past 5, 6, 7 years, you see some we're playing the shitty Cowboys. Oh, okay, we'll lose.
Yeah.
But then we have something like the Chiefs or the Patriots, and we'll beat them.
Yeah.
And it's like why? Like what is happening? How are we winning by 2 touchdowns or like a touchdown and like a field goal?
Yeah.
And then we lose to the Cowboys or the Vikings or whatever it is. And it's just frustrating because it's like if we're going to get good round picks or if we're going to pick people, at least or drafting another quarterback. And I'm not going to say Jalen Hurts isn't great.
But it's draft a quarterback.
I'll lose my shit because we had Foles, we had Wentz, and then it's like we have all this, and then we're like, oh, do we like Wentz? Do we like Foles? And then we draft another quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts isn't great. Yeah. He had a bit of a rough start to a couple of the games in the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
But if we draft another quarterback, cornerback or anything like that, we just need people who can open field tackle.
Yeah.
We need some good linebackers.
Yeah.
And it's just if they're breaking through our primary right in the front, our front line, our front four, front three.
Yeah. I really don't think you can be like an NFL team is going to run the ball 40 times a game and be able to get, you know what I mean, like all these yards against our front four. Because we're just that good. We're definitely a top 10 defensive line in the league.
I know,
everything else is awful.
And it's so frustrating because like how much can Cox do in one run? And it's things like this where it's like you can't just count on your front 3, front 4 when it's like okay, they can only do so much. And if they're running right through like right to the 2, right to the 4, or coming on the other side 3 and the 5. It's like they can't cover A, B, and C, and if they're going to come through, you have to count on your secondary.
Well, yeah, we always have a history of drafting really small cornerbacks and safeties. So like you'll have like it was really evident against the Falcons a couple years ago, where Matt Ryan was just literally throwing the ball up to Julio Jones, and he was just mossing our defense because he's like, oh, I'm 6'3". With super long arm, like a 7-foot wingspan, and you're 5'10" with a 6'1" wingspan. Like, you're not catching this pass, and then so you're not breaking this up. And then even if you get a hand on it, I'm ripping it out of your hands because I'm stronger than you. It's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Julio Jones had a really good game against the Bulls.
The Bills.
Bills.
This is basketball, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you guys can roast him for that.
Well,
later.
He had a crazy catch. Julio Jones is still a good wide receiver.
He is so good.
He's old now, kind of. But,
sorry, I didn't mean my ADHD is flipping back and forth. But you said Julio Jones, my brain went yeah.
But no, he's still good. And but no, I think the Eagles could be really good. I think if we can finish this season strong, like if we win at least 10 games, 8 games, something along those lines, we'll have enough momentum going into next season if we draft correctly to be good or to at least to be decent. But obviously that's looking at it with the glass half full, because I'm tired of complaining about the Eagles because you can complain. You can draw whatever pick you want about, what you want to argue. Jalen Hurts isn't as good as everyone thought he was going to be. Nick Sirianni is not a good head coach. They don't run the ball. The defense both sides of the ball can't stop making stupid penalties.
Well, offsides, holding, whatever it is, they're running on the field, getting like 40-yard catches.
Yeah.
We have holding, and they're bringing it back, or blocking in the back. All right, I'm not gonna get angry.
But anyway, before we go on this tangent, the Eagles are not good. We're slightly better than the Washington football team.
We're tied up.
Yeah, Cowboys are gonna run away with the division this year, I think.
No, what are they like? 5-1?
Oh yeah. Whoa! It's not like they beat us. To beat the shit out of us.
We don't gotta talk about things like that.
Anyway,
I do gotta hand it to them though. Their defense is fucking insane.
Their defense is insane. But in other news, getting off to some of the other teams, the Cardinals are the biggest surprise I think coming out of this
6-0.
Yeah, Cardinals are the Rams are playing the best football they've played since 2018,
Yep.
and the Cardinals are like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah,
The Cardinals just beat down on the Browns a little bit. I don't know what's going on with the Browns. I feel like they had a shitload of momentum going into the season, and then they hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with
they were
them.
3-2 before.
Yeah, they're 3-3. Obviously, they're not a bad team for how much talent that they have, but they lost Nick Chubb. Baker Mayfield very well may not be 100% after that J.J. Watt hit.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, he got sacked a few times on Sunday. He tried to roll out to his left, got tackled, like an ankle tackle, got wrapped up kind of weird. And he was visibly hurt.
Yeah.
He didn't get taken out of the game, but he wasn't 100%.
Well, I mean, not to get off topic again, but like I know like Lamar Jackson got sacked twice.
Yeah.
For huge losses.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. When you have a dual threat quarterback, a guy that can run, when he senses pressure, he's not going to try to throw the ball. He's going to try to run away from it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to pull you off track, but
well, no, I'm just saying.
You're talking about like sacks,
that's
but
it's kind of what you have. Like you got these dual threat quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield is getting better with learning how to step around in the pocket and move around and throw the ball. Because to be fair, he's not a Lamar Jackson, or he's not even like a Tannehill or a Josh Allen or whatever. He's not as fast as they are, so he's going to have to make it work with his arm a little bit more. Obviously, he does have breakaway ability, and he does have the
100%, absolutely, yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, that shouldn't be his first. Like if he senses pressure, he's not going to go, oh, I'm just going to sprint through the hole. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to roll out to one side and try to throw the ball. The problem is he's missing a lot of throws. The Cardinals are not a team to fuck around with. You can't give them too many opportunities to win the game because they will score touchdowns. You know, you have Kyler Murray, who is probably a top in the running for MVP, probably a top contender.
It'd be him,
Brady, Herbert.
God, Brady.
You know, so it's just it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are not a bad team. I don't know. We'll
I was surprised. You don't really hear a lot about them. And then I think they were 4-0 after. Oh man, oh my god, I can't think of who they after when they were 4-0. But
they were good last year.
Yeah, they were pretty good last year. I just didn't expect them to be 6-0.
No,
kind of coming into week 7, and I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm like, wow, maybe they are a team not fuck around with because their defense isn't bad.
Their defense isn't bad. It's not as good as you would assume they would.
No, their safeties are kind of getting a little burnt.
But but they have good play calling. They have good schemes. So a lot of trickery. And then on their offense is like once they get rolling, it's hard to stop them because you have DeAndre Hopkins, who he's such a versatile threat because my dude he will dunk and dime. He will run 5-yard out routes all day long. You go, okay, we're gonna play shallow. We're gonna drop in the safeties. Oh yeah, he's sprinting past you. That's an 85-yard touchdown. Dude, and then it's like, oh well, we're gonna triple team him. Guess what? The Bills thought the same thing, and then he mossed all 3 of them to win the game. So what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? You know what I mean? Like DeAndre Hopkins he's probably. I would say he's probably one of the top 5 scariest wide receivers to go up against. Now, obviously, most of his prime he played on the Texans, so it's a little frustrating because he played on a shitty team. So it's like, well, he didn't have the best. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have the best opportunity to be that great. But you look at all the top guys, Megatron, right? Calvin Johnson. He played on the Lions his entire career, and that dude was a baller. That dude, you couldn't stop him. You really couldn't. Did you know that you know why he retired so early?
No.
Because he was too big. I'm gonna break it down. He was so big. He was so big that the defense, like the defensive backs, had to hit him a lot harder to bring him down. So playing every year after year, getting fucking walloped.
That makes sense.
You're not arm tackling Calvin. You're not arm tackling 6'5" Calvin Johnson.
It's not happening.
No,
I didn't actually know that.
You have to put a beating on him to get him down. Then he had ankle issues. Like,
Well, because they're gonna go for his legs. If you're
well, yeah. I mean, if you ever,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen his documentary or not
No,
through
I haven't
NFL
seen it.
Films, but he was talking about it where he would wake up or he would go to the bathroom or whatever in the middle of the night. And his legs would be numb, his ankles would be numb, like or would be like locked up. He has broken hands, like his fingers are all messed up because he broke them so many times. His back had problems, so he retired when he needed to retire for his own health.
Sure,
Obviously.
that makes sense. A lot of guys can't do that.
But that dude was scary, man. Like obviously everyone says, "Oh, Jerry Rice back in the day was scary." Randy Moss, terrifying. Dude, Calvin Johnson, man. Not only was he fast, not only was he good, you know what I mean, in like getting around like coverages. That dude just he was just so big and fast. It was just hard to stop him. You know, so you always got these wide receivers where like everyone thought Odell Beckham Jr. was going to be the next, you know, whatever.
Well, see, my only thing with him, right, and I'm not gonna say he's a bad athlete, but I think he got a lot of clout after that one touchdown catch.
Yeah,
which to his credit,
he has
right,
really good hands,
very good hands.
but he's just he ruined. I mean, he was on the Giants, dude. He was a diva. And I don't know if he's still a diva. I don't really see him acting that same kind of like.
I haven't really heard much about him. You know what I'm saying?
He's also been hurt. He's hurt all of last year, basically. He's hurt a couple games this year already. You know what I mean? He played all of 2019 or whatever with a hernia.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
Can't have that.
I don't know how he did that. But the dude's really good at football. The problem is when he was on the Giants, he definitely got too much clout for that one catch. And he got, you know, then he started doing the whole dancing thing and the whole, like, look at me, which is fine, which is totally cool.
You just got to back it up a little bit, too.
You got to really back it up. And he's had a couple game-winning drops. He's had a couple plays where it doesn't really show that much effort, and you can see it.
And so you know what it is? I think that kind of comes with the clout. Like, you know, when you get that crazy catch, when you are... You're playing at like a high regard, and then you start doing like all the dances. Oh, check me out, watch me, and then you drop game-winning touchdowns. You drop like a 20-yard out route or whatever it is, and you're doing this, and everyone's like, "Are you really that good?" But I think because you draw so much attention, saying, "I'm good, I'm great, I'm the best," and then you're just dropping simple catches in single coverage on man, or you're in double coverage. You have at least 3 or 4 yards on them, and then you're dropping it, and you're just trying to use those one-arm catches, and it's like. Why? You can use 2 hands.
Well, the whole thing I think is with him is I think what the Browns is going to happen is you have a very scary position to be in because Baker Mayfield is missing a lot of throws. He's missing a lot of passes.
Yeah, I don't know his stats currently. So
he's just you saw it against the Vikings. He missed a wide open Odell like 3 times. He's missing Jarvis. You know, Jarvis Landry and Odell. It's tough because they're always hurt.
Oh, he has a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Looking out here, I didn't see. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's, you know, if Baker's got hurt, what does the Browns feel like future? Because now with him being out this Thursday, obviously it's against the Broncos. The Broncos aren't a very good team, but the Broncos might win because who's their backup? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Who are they putting in behind Baker?
I don't even honestly. I don't know who's behind him.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like I think the Browns are kind of going to go down a tailspin of events, and they're going to kind of see what's going to happen. Oh, it's Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Case Keenum could be he might be good. He's a good backup. He played well in 2017 for the Vikings. Problem is he's not a great quarterback. I think the Browns are going to be a mid-tier team this year. I think they might win 8 games.
They were getting a lot of prize from a lot of people because everyone was surprised because they were 2-0, 2-1, and everyone was like, "Yo, look at the Browns because they've had that first, second round pick in the past couple of years, kind of rebuilding their program, and everyone was like, "Oh, are they going to be great? Are they going to really kind of move stuff here?"
Yeah.
Well, now they're 3-3, which isn't bad. They're 500, but
I don't think they have the full team.
No,
I don't think they don't have every piece they need to be a cohesive team to win.
Yeah, and maybe they could make some trades for some round picks or whatever it is, but I don't think they really have anybody to trade.
I think they're good on both sides of the ball. I just think they need some more weapons. Like they maybe might need a better tight end. They might need some better defensive linemen. Maybe another couple linebackers to really be good enough to contend with a team like the Bucks or the Chiefs. Like, dude, the Chiefs aren't even that. Like the Chiefs of 2021 are not the Chiefs of last year. They're not. Patrick Mahomes, I think, they're so worried about So like, he's not going to be able to throw up the ball to Tyreek for 40 yards every game.
Yeah.
Every
No.
play.
Yeah.
He's not able to hit Travis Kelce for 25 yards every time he touches the ball. He's not able to scramble out of the pocket and deep it, yeah, and throw the ball 80 yards down the field and have a wide open, whoever. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen anymore because teams are like, okay, when they line up this way, they like to do this. And then if they audible, they usually audible into this. So what we're going to do is set up here so we have everything covered. What do you see? Pat Mahomes snaps the ball. And, Tyreek is covered and Kelsey's covered. Okay, I'm going to let them go and run around and get open. I'm going to make a crazy throw, and it's going to be a touchdown. Oh, it's actually a pick. You know what I mean? And now that's what you're seeing a lot of the time. Obviously, Chiefs are still, I would say, a top 10 team. Obviously, like Patrick Mahomes, I would. You can't really bet against Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. You know, they just beat up on the the Washington football team. But I don't think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, the Browns, and the Browns are gonna. They're on like a downward slope instead of upward slope at the current moment. But who knows? I mean,
well, Chiefs are the Titans next week, or I guess this upcoming week.
It's hard, man. It's hard to figure out who's going to win that game because, the Titans are on an upswing. They just beat the Bills. Everyone thought the Bills were going to steamroll them. You know what I mean? Like you lost to the goddamn Titans. I mean, to the goddamn Jets. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? But Ryan Tannehill balled out a little bit. I mean, he made some big time throws when he had to. But the whole thing was Derrick Henry.
Dude. Oh, bro, because I was watching the recap and I was like, I was freaking out.
Dude, Derrick Henry balled out
There was like this whole ranking, like this meme on like NFL memes, and shout out to them because they're funny as hell. And he's like 735, something like that, total like rushing yards, and it's like number 2, Derrick Henry with like 531. I forget what it was. I can't think of what I'm saying. Anyways.
Receiving yards?
No, I don't think it was. Might have been receiving yards. But I think it was.
I doubt it.
No. I'll have to find it later.
Yeah.
But and then it was like number 3, and I was just like, he's just a monster. And
dude, Derrick Henry is a problem.
You cannot. Well, he was just holding the ball, clutching it up, and just walking into the end zone.
Dude, he's the king of running backs right now. He's obviously not going to be as fast as an Alvin Kamara. He's not as fast as but he's fast enough.
Burnt. What was the cornerbacks or the safeties? He was running and he made that 72-yard run. And he was burning them. They gave up.
He's built like a tight end, but runs like a running back.
Dude, a man that big should not be able to run that. And he's burning them. He was 4 or 5 yards behind them. Well, they can't catch him.
Did you see his memes with the whole stiff arm thing?
No, I didn't see that.
So last year he stiff armed Josh Norman, who's been in the NFL forever. He stiff armed him 5 yards into the sidelines. He literally Josh Norman ran up to tackle him and he picked him up with one arm and threw him. Said no, he was like, get off me. Derrick Henry is a monster. He's had a couple injuries, but nothing crazy. I think he's gonna go down as probably one of the. If he continues to play like this for a couple more years, I would say if he puts up this season, he might be able to hit 2,000 yards. I mean, I know it's a lot because you haven't seen a lot of running backs do that. Shout out to Adrian Peterson, but
yeah, but if he's doing 150 yards a game, because just this with the Bills, he did what, it was 143. Yeah. Averaging 7 point. That's just crazy. 3 TDs. Yeah, dude.
Dude is a problem.
Yeah.
But the Titans, I don't think the Titans are a top 10 team. I mean, okay, I'll give them top 10. I don't think they're good enough to beat consistently. If they have to, I don't think they're good enough yet to beat the Chiefs or the Bucks or, I don't even think they're good enough to beat the Bills again. I think it was just they had a perfect play strategy going into this game, and I think the Bills kind of underperformed a little bit. So I wouldn't worry about where the Bills stand in the NFL currently. I think the Bills are a better team, but I think the Titans just had a better day. I think they weren't expecting to have to give up 140 yards to Derrick Henry by himself. I just, you know what I mean?
By himself.
And then almost 100 yards of receiving for A.J. Brown.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, it's insane. I remember a lot of the games weren't as exciting, but I remember I was watching the recap of that, and I'm just watching him, and it's just Derrick Henry, and it's just it's like a man playing with boy. All right.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Now let me retract what I just said. It's like a man playing with smaller men. Doesn't sound any better. What I'm trying to say is
It's like a D1 running back playing
against
high school.
high
players.
school.
There you go.
Yes.
Good job.
Who are all 18 and legal.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So let's just stop talking for a hot second, and then, so we're just gonna move on from that.
Oh, I'm gonna get roasted.
fiasco.
Oh God, Discord's gonna be rough later.
Moving on. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Dolphins to the surprise of no one. Both teams are bad. Both neither one of the teams are good. The Jaguars they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to win 5 games. And the Dolphins might not win 5 games either. The Dolphins
could do it.
Dolphins are terrible.
You don't know.
They're both 1-5.
It doesn't matter.
They're awful.
Shh.
They're bad.
Let them in. Trevor.
Okay, look. Okay, ready? Okay, so if you look up the stats for Tua, right? He threw for almost 330 yards, right?
Yeah.
Two touchdowns and a pick.
329, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. He balled out. Did he? Did he ball out? He couldn't. He threw up 330 yards and they couldn't beat the Jaguars. They put up 20 points. What are you doing? Malcolm Brown, 24 yards receiving, or rushing. You know what I mean? What's going on? Tua is always hurt. You can't beat the Jaguars. You couldn't beat the 0-5 Jaguar or the 0-5 Jaguars. You couldn't do it. You could have been 2-4 and been on the same.
Dude, Trevor Lawrence at 319.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my god.
Trevor Lawrence. But look at his complete 25 of 41. That's not
Don't
good.
Don't look at that.
That's
Don't look
not
at it.
good.
Don't look
It's
at
almost. That's just above half. Like it's not good. Like it's not like yo, dude, you balled out, bro. No, he gave the ball to Marvin Jones and to Jamal Agnew, and that's it. Dude, it's just one of those things where I don't think that neither one of these teams are good. Either one, and they're playing against each other, and you're like, who watches that game? Like, who sits down and goes, "Let's go, Trevor Lawrence"?
Jaguars fans watch it. And so
Dude,
do the
I don't
Dolphins.
understand how they have fans. What is the point? Why do you watch the game? It's like being a Jets fan. Why? Like you're not gonna win.
It's always funny when you're around here in PA and you see someone with a Jets hat on and you're like, the Eagles.
The Jets haven't been good, bro. The last time the Jets were good, good, was guess when? That's right, the 60s. Joe Namath. The last time they went
60s?
The last time they went
The 60s?
last time the Jets went to the playoffs was in 2009, 2010, I think.
No.
The Jets aren't a good team. The Jets they really put a lot of eggs in the same basket with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh yeah, we also kind of forgot to draft the rest of the team around him. So, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. He'll be okay."
Well, that's exactly what they said. In the one press conference, they're like, "Don't worry, we got it handled. We're gonna have a great year. Just ready to ball out with us. Make sure you guys are watching." And then
they won 3 games.
I don't even think it was 3 games.
They're like, "Oh well, Sam Darnold makes some mistakes here and there. Oh, okay, he's a rookie. Let's draft some talent around him." Nope. No, we're not. We're gonna draft the 3rd round wide receivers coming out of fucking TCU who can't catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really think the Jets are like, look, this is what we're gonna do in the draft. Why would we draft out of Alabama or Clemson or LSU? No. Give me Florida Central. Give me Central Florida. You know what I mean? Give me Eastern Mississippi Baptist. They don't, you know what I mean? And it's like,
You're not joking.
No. Give me, you know what?
Oh.
We got one of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft. You know who we're going to take? Zach Wilson out of BYU. That guy, what is he? He's undersized, not that fast, doesn't have a great arm. That's our franchise quarterback, baby.
Can we have? You know what? Listen. Tell you what. We're gonna trade a 1st round pick.
We're gonna trade the 1st round pick,
and we're gonna wait for him.
It's for him in particular,
because if he doesn't come from BYU,
because we called him and said we want you, and he said, "I guess."
That man's never having a career.
Dude, the Jets are just a bad.
Hey, don't worry. He's gonna be a rookie. Hey, listen. His first year, he's not great.
Yeah, he's not great.
He's a rookie. I need you to remember that, okay?
Yeah.
But the second year, remember, it's the second year. He's still learning.
Still learning.
His fifth year, dude. Listen,
year, dude.
man.
Oh,
He's getting beat up a lot. You know.
He just broke his back. We're gonna trade him. Oh yeah, now he's on the Bills in 5 years, and now he's like an all-star. Oh, but it's not us.
Shout out Carson Wentz. Anyways,
no, Carson Wentz is not an all-star anymore.
No, I'm just saying he did pretty well.
Did well last week.
Yeah.
This past week he played well. Out of a percentile of 0 to 100, on a chart of 0 to 100%, his player rating was a 94.1 last week. Oh. So he balled out last week. And then all these Eagle fans are like, "Oh, this is why we shouldn't have traded him." Yada yada yada. Need I remind you what happened last year? Need I remind you that last season every Eagles fan and their mother was like, "Give us Jalen Hurts. Give us Jalen Hurts."
It was in Philly. It was the top trending hashtag. It was like "fuck Carson." Or no, it wasn't "fuck Carson" once. It was like FCW, whatever it was.
Oh, dude, it's so because I stood up for Wentz. I ask anybody. I stood up for Wentz.
Did.
I fought for Wentz.
You almost got into a fight here.
But then it's like he gets traded, and neither one of the quarterbacks are playing particularly well. I would say Carson Wentz is slightly better than Jalen Hurts at the moment. But dude, I think the problem with Jalen Hurts is two things: Nick Sirianni's play calls, and he doesn't.
How dare you ever?
Oh my God!
No.
But I also think he has a problem with anticipation. Like I think he sees a wide receiver covered, and he goes, "He's not open." Whereas if he were to he has to throw him open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you look at Tom Brady, look at some of his biggest throws. Julian Edelman, right? He's not considered open, but he puts it in a spot where only he can make the catch. Yeah. And if he doesn't make the catch, okay, cool. At least it's not a pick. The problem with Jalen Hurts is he rolls out of the pocket and he's like, "Oh, Devontae Smith, he's double covered. Jalen Reagor not open. Oh, I'm just gonna run, get 2 yards. Yeah. Okay, that didn't work. Let's do it again."
And it's not like he doesn't have time.
He has time in the pocket, but I just think he's not. His anticipation and his awareness isn't fully there yet.
Awareness 0.
So I think Nick Sirianni is handcuffing him because he's struggling, and what you need out of a head coach is to say, "Look, this isn't working.
Yeah.
What do you feel comfortable with? This is kind of what I was thinking.
Yep.
Can you work with this? Can we figure this out?" And that gives your quarterback confidence, especially a young quarterback, to say yes.
Do you think they trust him with any of those kind of conversations? Because I'm sure they have to have plenty.
I don't know, dude.
Because I feel like at this kind of level, with as much ball as he's played in his past life, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to trust somebody with that kind of conversation. But I also, at the same time, like, I don't know if it's a fan thing or if it's like
I just think
franchise
Nick Sirianni's
thing.
scared to. I just think he's scared to call big time plays because it's like
just run the ball.
Well, this is the thing because I don't know what Nick Sirianni is thinking. I think he this is his thought process. Okay, in the first drive of the game, they bit on a RPO and we had a wide open Devontae Smith for like 25 yards. That will always work. And then the defense is like, "Coach, they've called 13 straight RPO plays, and we've picked the ball off 3 straight times. Do you think they're going to change anything up?" No. Oh no, we in the third quarter we finally broke out a bubble screen, and we got 17 yards. That will always work.
4 more times. If you don't do it again, do it again.
Fourth quarter, 3 minutes left. You know what? Let's run the ball.
Coach, how many times have we run the ball?
Twice.
Twice?
Oh, Miles Sanders has 1 carry for 28 yards. Nah. He's tired.
Pass it, Jalen. If you don't pass it,
because now they think we're going to run the ball, so pass it.
He just got 28 yards.
Okay, Coach, are we going to do like a deep, like a vertical or like a post route? RPO slants.
Only RPO slants. And if it's not an RPO, you're done. Mm-hmm. You're traded. Mm-hmm. You're going to be Ertzed. Anyways.
Oh, and guess what? They're covering the slants. If you see the audible, you have the audible for Jalen Reagor and Devontae Smith to go out routes. To be double covered.
And if they're in triple coverage, throw the ball to them. I don't care if there's 3 men on them. Oh, Devontae
Smith is running hip to hip with a cornerback down the field. Bomb it.
But listen,
If it gets picked, it's your fault. Why don't we
I'm
run
not
the
taking
ball,
the heat
coach?
on Twitter. You're taking the heat on
I
Twitter.
wear
I'll create a
I
hashtag.
wear cool shirts in press conferences in practice. I wear cool shirts like Beat Dallas and Mr. Softy.
And then we get shit on them.
We get shit on.
But it's because of you,
but it's your
not
fault.
me.
I'm a first-year head coach, but it's your fault. Get out of my face.
Daddy says this is how it is.
Like, dude, like Miles Sanders. If I'm Miles Sanders, I'm treating it like Marshawn Lynch did, and with the Seahawks 2013, where they were like, "What do you feel like you should have got the ball?" And he's like, "Man, I don't even have to say nothing." You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to. Like, Miles Sanders it could easily be a top 5 running.
No,
running
100%.
back in the league.
Absolutely.
The problem is, we don't give him the ball, and the worst part about it is, we're probably not going to give him the ball, because this is what happened. He'll get the ball, he'll gain like 2 yards, get stuffed, and then they're like, that didn't work. Okay, the next 25 plays are going to be pass plays. And I'm like, dude, Jalen Hurts, you can only expect him to do so much.
And listen, and if you're throwing that much in a game, on top of getting tackled, having to move around the pocket, whatever it is, you got to give him time to rest. Because if you're just going and like. The thing too is like if you're gonna be throwing 3 passes, right, and now we're 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, whatever it is, maybe run the ball a little bit, and don't just be going 3 and out, because now our defense is on the fucking field.
Oh my god!
For like 2 straight quarters of getting play after play after play, they're gonna get. I don't care.
And our defense isn't even 100%.
No, which is kind of it's so well. I mean,
like we lost Brandon Graham like week 2. Or 3,
yeah,
which sucked.
Cox had that whole. The cramping, right?
Yeah. And then you got guys that are just our offensive line is getting dismantled. Lane Johnson, he had a personal issue for the past 2 or 3 weeks. The Eagles are just a mess. But moving on to some of the other games that we got this past week. Like you said, pretty much all the teams that were expected to win won. The Rams beat the Giants. Obviously, the Giants are a terrible football organization.
Looks like it was a close game, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, 38 to 11, definitely.
Listen, if they just got like one more touchdown.
If Daniel Jones threw one more pick, then that would have ignited them, because then they would have been down like 45 to 11, and then. Because it had to be a pick 6 or like a fumble. Or no, better, he's going to run the ball for 70 yards and then trip over himself. And then they're going to fumble. He's going to fumble it. And then he's going to be like a player in Madden. And then he's just going to lay there. And then the other team's going to get the ball. And then they're going to run it for 75 yards down the other end of the field and score a touchdown. And then the Giants are going to be like, yo, this is what we needed, guys. There's 3 minutes left in the game. We're doing this. And then they're going to win. That's what they need. That's what they needed. That's all they needed. They just lay there and like they're their animation is like slowly getting up. And then he just looks at the ball. He just looks at the ball, and then they get the ball and he's like, "That was a fumble. That wasn't a fumble. You threw the ball at the ground." Oh, my knee was down.
My bad.
My bad, coach. The Cowboys beat the Patriots. The Cowboys game was a good game. Cowboys.
I did not see that game.
So basically, Cowboys and the Pats were going back and forth. It was kind of a defensive battle a little bit, and then both offenses started to really click. CeeDee Lamb torched them, and then Pats had the ball going into overtime, couldn't do anything. Cowboys get the ball and score a touchdown. They win the game. Cowboys look good on both sides of the ball. I mean, really not much to say about them. When you watch their games, like against the Chargers was probably their worst looking game. Besides their loss to the Bucks. But I just think, I just think that the Cowboys are probably going to run away with the division.
Oh no, 100%. Because they're what right now?
They're 5-1.
5-1.
So they're going to run away with it. I think it pains me to say it, but
they're them boys.
Nope.
Right now they're them boys.
But hey, they them boys until week 1 of the playoffs, and then they're going to lose to the.
All right, let me just throw a hypothetical out there.
Okay.
Now.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say that they're gonna make the oh my gosh, what? The
Super Bowl?
Super Bowl. Yes, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Now, if they make the Super Bowl,
yes,
they win. Let's just hypothetical.
Okay. So for the first Super Bowl win in 25 years, nice.
Isn't it 30? Are you?
No,
yeah, 25. Yeah. No, you're right.
98.
So
I think
if they win, Tell you what.
Okay. Okay.
We have to watch. Okay, if they win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That week
All
for
right.
the podcast, you got to do it in your underwear.
Sure.
All right. And if they go to the Super Bowl and they lose,
Yeah.
I'll do it in my underwear.
But it's just you and me, buddy. There's no cameras.
You know what? I didn't ask you that it was going to be a good idea.
All right. If the Cowboys, how about this? If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, I will buy us pizza and a shitload of wings, and we will watch an entire Harry Potter marathon.
Yes. I mean, who likes Harry Potter?
But if the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl and lose, then you have to reciprocate, but we get to watch The Lord of the Rings.
For those of you who can't see, we just shook hands.
Yeah.
You're on.
I like pepperoni pizza, by the way.
Just so you know, I like barbecue wings.
Yeah, but it's the Cowboys.
And
They're not.
they're going to do it.
No.
All right, listen, Dak, if you hear this by any grace of God, I
Dak,
need
break
you...
your ankle.
No, stop it.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. It was a joke. I don't want anyone in the NFL to get hurt ever
You
again.
motherfucker. You know what's going to happen now? He's going to break his John, and someone's
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, who are these idiots on a podcast that just stuttering in silence? Anyways, cue the cutscenes. Anyways, yeah, they're going to blame you.
No, they're not.
They them boys, don't forget.
Yeah, well, you know who else is them boys?
Who?
The Steelers. Big Ben is the best quarterback in the NFL.
He's as mobile as a fridge. Hey, listen, I'm gonna fall down in the pocket,
Dude,
5 yards
man,
back.
That man has to retire, bro. I mean, if you're, I know we have some friends that are Steelers fans, but dude, I mean, if I can talk shit about my favorite team, you got it to be able to talk shit about your team. Like the Steelers are not.
Ben won't
good.
bend on that though.
Like the Seahawks aren't good anymore because Russ is out, but the Steelers are not. They're 3-3, but they're not.
Man, he had 229 yards.
Oh yeah. He played okay actually, but the problem is he's becoming he's kind of like Peyton Manning. Like Peyton Manning, if you don't know, in 2016 when
Wait,
they won
he's only 39. Mm-hmm. That's pretty old, but I mean,
in comparison to fucking Brady, he's about to be fucking 45. You know what I mean? But if you're looking at it like look at Peyton Manning's last season. He got carried heavily by the defense that year. Like his defense allowed the fewest points in the NFL, fewest yards per play in the NFL, and he was mediocre. He had an okay season.
okay.
But they won the game. And then even in the Super Bowl, they Panthers just couldn't play football. They just sacked. No
Still
yards.
can't play
Sacked. No yards.
Yeah.
First drive of the game, they fucking Von Miller strip sack for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, so the Steelers aren't. I don't think they're going to do anything this season. I think they looked okay against the Seahawks. Obviously, their defense stepped up big time in that last couple plays of the game. But I don't think they're gonna. I don't think
They
they're
finished
gonna
what? It was 23-20, right?
23-20. Yeah, they won. T.J. Watt got a strip fumble, a strip sack, yeah. So I don't think the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks need Russell Wilson to come back big time, but I think the Seahawks are. I don't know what's going on with them. I think they're too reliant on the past Seahawks. You know what I mean? Like I think they're too reliant on Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and they're not.
I love when everyone jumped on that bandwagon.
Oh my god! I remember vividly. Shout out to Javen, by the way. We watched the Super Bowl 2013, and he wanted the Seahawks to win, and I wanted the Broncos to win because I am a huge Peyton Manning fan. I was a Broncos fan, not as big as an Eagles fan. I was a Broncos fan just because Peyton Manning was on the team. But I mean, I also do like the Broncos. Like, I don't know what it is. I do like Von Miller. I do like the Broncos.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I
mean,
like
they're yeah.
I like I like their stadium. I don't know. Call me a bandwagon. I don't know, but I always kind of like the Broncos, even back in like the early 2000s. I would watch like the Eagles play the Broncos, and I'm like, oh, the Broncos have like cool jerseys. You know what I mean? Stuff like along those lines, and then
You like that blue and orange?
Yeah. Well, I like
the
it.
Seahawks have a way cooler jersey. If we're gonna talk,
The Seahawks jerseys are ass.
why are you mad?
Seahawks jerseys suck.
Why are you mad? It's just a game.
I like their all navy blue ones is kind of cool, but then they wear like that gaudy green.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. So, but yeah, everyone was on the Seahawks bandwagon when they won, and then they almost beat the Patriots. They should have beat the Patriots. Then it would be, but then it would be Brady 6 rings. So you never know. But no, the Steelers and the Seahawks. The game was not good. It wasn't a fun game to watch. I watched that game. It wasn't a fun game to watch. First 2 quarters were kind of bad. The Steelers put up 14 points off of pretty simple plays. Seahawks came back. You know, it was just a boring game all in all.
I mean, we can watch the highlights if you want. We can we can relive it for you if you want.
Sure, let's watch like
let's actually just do it right now.
Let's watch like 15 straight 3 and outs. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The first quarter was literally 3 and out, 3 and out.
Oh, really? I didn't watch
punt.
the.
Punt. That was bad. But and then I think getting into I know we're kind of following the careers a little bit of some of the rookies and like secondary players.
Yeah.
Talking about some crazy stuff. So the Lions actually lost to the to the Bengals, to the surprise of everyone.
Another game I did not see.
You know, the Lions are the best team in football.
Oh yeah. Well, just so you know, if you can't see here, I'll blow it up for you real quick on your screen here.
Yeah.
I think that looks it looks like a 0, but I think they messed it up. It's supposed to be an 8. And then I think that 6 is supposed to be a 0.
So this is what happens. So this is the thing. The Lions are too good of a football team. So they're like, we're not going to go 17-0. So that's cliche. What we're going to do is we're going to go 0-6 to start off the season. And then we're going to turn it around. Okay? You know what? Shout out to Big Game Bengal on YouTube. Bengal, he's a YouTuber. He does a simulation on Madden. He does Madden franchises, and he's playing with the Lions this season.
Okay.
Same story. They're not that good, but shout out to him. I don't know. Yeah, he's like, I watch him like every one of the videos because he's pretty entertaining. But yeah, so the Lions are not a good football team right now. They're really bad. Jared Goff he's got to figure it out, dude. Jared Goff is not good anymore. He had one really good year.
Interception.
Dude, he had one really good year in 2018, and then all of a sudden, everything.
Why are you sleeping?
Okay, sorry. 2017, he was decent too. Sorry. Whoa. Crazy. Whoa. Yeah. No, dude. No, the Rams are not good.
DeAndre Swift.
The Rams
average
shouldn't
of
even
1.8.
The Rams shouldn't have even been in the playoffs in 2018, if we're being real. That was the whole Saints no pass interference call incident. Remember that?
Oh, really? No, I do not remember that.
So, okay. So what I'm gonna need you to do is put up a for sale sign on your rock that you've been living under, and get you out of there. So
I can't do that. I just bought the rock.
Crazy. Anyway, so what happened was it was late in the game. Saints needed to score a touchdown to win the game. Or it was I think it was they were down by like 2 points, whatever. Drew Brees throws a really like a 20-yard out route. I remember this. Throws a pass, and it was basically the wide receivers running up the sideline. The ball's coming right here, right?
Okay.
And the defender hits crosses the field, smacks the wide receiver out of bounds, and then the ball drops. So basically, the wide receiver was reaching for the ball, and if the ball's maybe 5 yards away from him, in the air,
yeah,
he gets hit out of bounds before the ball even lands.
Oh.
No, it was no pass interference because they ruled it a quote unquote uncatchable pass because from where the ball looked as where it was going to land, they deemed
How did I not hear? I feel
it was a big thing, dude, because
wow, I'm a loser.
It was a terrible call. That should have been pass interference all day.
Yeah.
But they said it wasn't. Rams win the game. Go on to play the Patriots. It went down as one of the worst Super Bowls in NFL history, with the most consecutive punts in a Super Bowl, with 19 straight punts. And Brady won. So yeah, that was a rough year. I remember we watched that in PJ Willihan's. We watched that game. It was Gio, Javen. couple other. I don't. It might have just been us three. We watched that game, and yeah, it was bad. But that's in the past. But yeah, Jared Goff, that was his last like spark of anything. That was his last like hurrah, I guess that you could say. But other than that, all the games, they're pretty straightforward. Like I said, all the teams that were supposed to win won. And then obviously, the only other thing that would be notable to mention would be the Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah,
I own you. I fucking
yeah.
own you. I've always owned you.
The memes, dude. Oh my god, I live for moments like that.
Yeah.
Like, well, when he had that whole thing with like the minute or whatever seconds left, or the 30 seconds left, like all those memes went out there because there's the back to back. Like, oh, they have a minute and 35 left. Yeah. Oh, he has 30. And it's just funny because like it's just so memeable.
Yeah,
and it's just
it was funny. Or like when he does the discount double check last year against the or he does the I don't know if you watched Key and Peele, but he does the pump. You ever see that?
Oh,
the hip pump.
Yeah,
he's like, wait, two more. Don't you do another one?
Don't do it.
Flag. So he does that, and then they lose by 30 points.
Shouldn't have done that. Listen, it's illegal.
Yeah, but no. So it was funny, and then he scores a touchdown, like a rushing touchdown. He's like, I fucking own you.
Yep.
And then they win the game. I mean, he's dominated every season. He's dominated the Bears. The last time the Bears stood up against him was 2016 or 15 or something like that, where they had to make like they had to just come back by like 21 points. It was you know what I mean? But yeah, man. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all that's going on in the NFL world. And then, like, just the same way as last week, just kind of touch on the Sixers, where they're at right now. Ben Simmons actually finally came back to Philly.
Yeah.
He participated in a singular practice.
And then now he's on suspension.
Yeah, because Doc Rivers was like, hey, man, let's run some defense drills. And he was like, nah, I'm good. And then he was like, no, run some defense drills. He's like, nah, I don't think I'm going to do that. So then Doc was like, then you should just go home. And he's like, okay. Drops the ball and walks out. And then Joel Embiid on record goes on saying, I don't care about that man anymore, honestly. He does whatever he wants. He's a diva. He can do whatever, It's his life. Screw him. That's pretty much what he said. And then Ben Simmons went on record saying, the Philadelphia team never wanted me to win, never put me in a position to win.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, they have so many like different plays and things this to like cater to other people, and it's just cool. Because same thing you said last week, where it's just like, don't you like if you want to get traded, right, or if you want to play for another team, you gotta at least be marketable.
Yeah,
and that's really the only thing that I really haven't seen from the NBA, but it's just really frustrating to watch because it's also like you have to remember like Philly's got rough fans. So like your name is not gonna be very well spoken. He might get shot.
Look at Allen Iverson, dude. Allen Iverson never won a championship with the Sixers. But what did he do every day? He came out and he played. He played until he couldn't play anymore. And you got guys like Ben Simmons who have so much potential, had so much talent, and it's like. He goes out there and they can't get for 3 straight seasons going through the playoffs. Can't make into the finals. Can't make last year couldn't even make it out of the first round. And it's like and I understand you're frustrated. I understand the team is going through some ups and downs. But you're gonna sit there and tell me you just signed a 4-year $100 and whatever $1 million contract, and then the very next season you're gonna be like, oh well, we didn't win because. The Sixers don't want me to win. Nobody cares about us. Nobody cares about me. Like, they should have never traded Jimmy Butler. We should never have gotten Al Horford. Ben Simmons should have been moved to fucking shooting guard or power forward, and they would have been like, have a good day.
To be totally honest, you word out of my head. But
the whole thing is like this. All right, so Ben Simmons is our point.
No. I know that. I know all of that.
It's just like so we had Jimmy Butler in 2018.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Or 2019. Sorry,
I thought it was 8.
No, it was 19.
It was 19.
He was 19.
Okay.
So we had him in 20. Yeah, we had him in 2019. We were freaking good, dude. He made some really clutch game-winning shots that year against like the Hornets, and I think like the Heat. Played really well. Went to the playoffs. Got taken out. That was against the Toronto Raptors in that Kawhi crazy shot, like the craziest shot in NBA history? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
MLB
basically,
and NBA, I don't.
all right.
Yeah.
Basically, the Sixers there was Game 7 against the against the Toronto Raptors. We were up by 2 points or 1 point, and then if we win that game, we go on to face the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, which I think we probably could have won because they didn't look good in that series.
They were another bandwagoning team.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard gets a pass, dribbles to the right wing, off of 1 foot, falling into the stands, throws a ball up. The ball hits the front of the rim, the back of the rim, the front of the rim, stops, falls in. Crazy shot in NBA history. The crowd goes wild. Joel Embiid breaks out into tears, walks off the court. The whole meme, he's walking through the tunnel, he's crying.
Yeah.
And then the next season we went, we almost made it to the finals. So Ben Simmons doesn't like Jimmy Butler because Ben Simmons doesn't get the ball enough. We're gonna trade him to get Al Horford, and from the Celtics, and he guess what, sucks. Jimmy Butler becomes an all-star on the Heat, goes to the NBA Finals with the Heat. Unfortunately for him, he loses to the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron. LeBron gets his 4th ring.
Nice.
As Skip Bayless likes to say, he's the ring made of cubic zirconium because it was in the bubble and he had a month off and whatever.
Oh.
But it's his 4th ring regardless, and Jimmy Butler signs like a whatever deal with the Heat to stay there, and now Ben Simmons is like, we sucked with Al Horford. Then we got Dwight Howard, a couple other guys, and now we couldn't even beat the Hawks for first round of the playoffs. But Ben Simmons is soft. He has his mentality is give me the ball and let me make plays, yet he doesn't want to shoot the ball. He doesn't want to have a jump shot. He doesn't want to let anybody else outshine him, even though he doesn't shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a great player. He's a good player. He's been an all-star every year. He's been in the NBA.
Sure.
He has a lot of potential, but you're going to tell me you're going to go on national TV and tell the reporters that you're envious of Giannis because they built a winning team around him, even though he doesn't have a jump shot. Well, guess what he did? He comes out in preseason and he starts knocking down threes. So I think he figured it out, buddy. What are you going to do? Oh, you're going to shoot. You're going to do fadeaways and jump shots all summer league, and then come into the NBA and only lay the ball up, because it makes the game harder for everybody else. Because the whole problem is, if you have good shooters like perimeter shooters, the floor is open for a guy like Joel Embiid.
Okay.
The floor is open because if you think about it, right,
I'm learning, ladies and gentlemen.
If you have the baskets here, right, you have your defenders have to be away from the basket to guard like the potential deep the deep 3 or the deep 2. Okay. Whereas when Ben Simmons brings the ball up, the defenders can play off of him and crowd that box a little bit more. And then it makes it harder for a guy like Joel Embiid to get the ball, and then he all of a sudden has 2-3 hands in his face. And then you throw the ball back out to wide open Simmons. What is he going to do? The defenders don't even have to move because he's not going to shoot. He's just going to dribble right to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it made it so difficult to have a good offense, like a consistent offense for us.
I didn't know that.
Even looking at some stuff like this season, floor is already much more open for Embiid. He was able to have shades of the 2019 Embiid where he's doing the fucking 360 windmill dunks, blowing past guys from the line.
Good highlight reels.
Great highlight reels. He's playing just like he played against the Toronto Raptors. The floor is just as open. It looks like they're playing well. Obviously, we don't have some of the all-time best talent out there, but I just think at this point, I know Doc Rivers is saying he's trying to get every opportunity to Ben Simmons, but I just personally think that the Sixers are better without him. I really do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean,
that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed everything we covered. Thanks for carrying that NBA and MLB.
It's all right. I just wanted to
aspect.
kind of get that off my chest.
No. I appreciate it. Because obviously MLB, I'm slowly learning. NBA, I definitely have to pick up because I've watched little to nothing of that.
Yeah.
Because even when I was in high school, and especially in college too, is like following wrestling really hardcore. Like I have a Flow account,
Yeah.
and things like that. And like basketball was one of those things where it happened during wrestling.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so
Well, that's all right. I mean, we'll dive into more stuff about it.
Well, I mean, look at me at football now. I can
Yeah.
have a full-on conversation with you. But yeah, no. So, you guys follow us on all the mainstream stuff.
Yeah, and if you obviously have anybody you know that obviously doesn't have Spotify or YouTube or anything like that, we have a couple of different avenues that you can go ahead and show them, or if it's easier for you to listen through a couple of different avenues other than Spotify,
Yeah.
so it's on there for you.
Google Podcast is free.
Yep.
Apple Podcast is already downloaded everyone's phones. So if you don't have Spotify, hop on there. And then Spotify is also free as well. YouTube, in the next couple weeks, maybe a month or so, we'll probably have video up too.
Yep.
You guys get to see what we look like if you don't already know, and kind of see how we interact. But I think that's it, Gav.
Yeah. Well, I bid everyone adieu and have everyone. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you in the next one.